Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in a wonderful feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, just feel that any stress, tension, worries are slowly leaving your body in that outward breath. Scan your body for any clues of tension, perhaps around your temple, forehead, jaw, neck, or shoulders. And as you breathe in, I want you to imagine breathing in a glowing color that represents resourcefulness and any resources you may need right now, feeling like they're going in through your nose, into your lungs, giving you a feeling of relaxation, peace, and positivity. But I also want you to breathe in a wonderful feeling of optimism, a deep sense, an unexplainable conviction that the future will be positive for you. So breathe in that feeling of resourcefulness and just allow anything that is disempowering or holding you back, particularly any blocks, start to detach and leave your body in that outward breath. The deeper you breathe, the more relaxed you become. The more relaxed you become, the more your imagination awakens. And I want you to use that imagination to imagine your future, perhaps just 1 or 2 years there into the future. Perhaps you could see yourself on a lounger in a villa with a pool, surrounded by a lush countryside, not too far from the coast. But I want you to see that version of you smiling as you relax. And I want you to see a future that is only possible when a particular problem is solved, when a particular memory is recalled, and when you can see that future where you're relaxing, perhaps by the side of a pool. Let me know by nodding your head. And then step into that version of you, the future version of you, no longer observing and now feeling how you would feel if you were relaxing on a lounger by a pool, knowing that the pool is in the grounds of your villa, a villa that has become possible through a life of hard work, good decisions, but also securing valuable assets. The slower you breathe, the more relaxed you become. Maybe feel the warmth of the sun on your skin. And imagine you can hear maybe children playing, maybe dogs running around. This is not just a villa for you. This is a villa to share positive memories and moments with the people you care about and love. And every now and then, it's possible to feel so relaxed outside that we drift off into a dreamlike sleep. And I want you to imagine that as I count downwards from 5 to 1, you will imagine feeling so relaxed there on that lounger by the pool in the garden of a villa that you drift off into a dreamlike sleep where you start thinking about emotive memories of the past. But for now, just breathe in and breathe out. And 5, just allow all of the muscles around your eyes to relax. Eyebrows, eyelids, all around the eyes. Just feel any tension melt away. 4, now focusing on your forehead and jaw. Releasing all of the tension now. As you imagine an ice cube melting in the sun, just imagine any tension in your forehead and jaw just melting away. That's it. And then 3, imagine how you would feel if your arms and legs felt light, floaty, or perhaps limp, loose and heavy, but just so relaxed that you start to drift off. And then 2, your internal organs, your lungs, heart, stomach, relax so much that it is conducive to your body knowing that you are safe, calm, and relaxed. This is a safe environment. And then 1, just allow your whole body to drift off as you imagine what it would be like to have a dreamlike sleep. And in that dream, I want you to imagine drifting all the way back in time. But this is you from the future, drifting back to the past, witnessing the past like you're a forensic investigator. Maybe the past created some worries, concerns, but that was the old you, not this you. So imagine drifting back and almost being an invisible entity in a room, seeing yourself with good intentions, seeing yourself make a decision to consolidate all these different random accounts into a single location. Maybe you can remember what you were wearing at the time, the place where you were working, maybe even the tools that you were using, the type of laptop, or the type of technology linked to that laptop. Because you're an invisible entity, you have the ability to take any position in the room. You can float up to the ceiling and look down. You can peer over the shoulder. And I want you to see the very point where a new hidden wallet was being created. And I want you to observe as you can almost appreciate that a thought process was being created, that there was a new component to a password, and that new component was about 8 numbers long. And you're just in the room observing as perhaps you can see the very first time the hidden wallet was created and a new password was required. And maybe you can observe what was typed into a keyboard at that time. Or maybe it's later when you see small transactions being made to test the delivery of a small amount before a larger payment is made. And observe, perhaps, as you see you accessing the hidden wallet to confirm the small amount before the larger payment is made. And maybe you can see what you're typing in a keyboard, or maybe observing a screen when a little eye symbol is clicked to reveal a particular password. Or maybe seeing a particular crypto wallet confirming the password on screen before a screen is touched. You're the observer. Whatever comes to mind, allow it to come to your mind. If there's any thoughts you want to get out of your mind onto paper, allow yourself to do that. And observe that there wasn't a single transaction that day, but more than 10. And just be like a fly on the wall, a ghostly entity in the room, just observing what happens. Or maybe you can recall the very things that were looked at or thought about when that very first password was created. Identity cards, social security numbers, dates of birth and phone numbers. This was never meant to be random. It was always linked to something that you had access to. And then rewind everything to before the very first hidden wallet was created. But now take on that first person perspective. You're now in your own body. Remember being in the room at that time. Laptop open. A particular application prompting you to make a decision. A standard wallet or a hidden wallet. And imagine clicking the part of the screen that chooses the hidden wallet and being prompted to put in a password for that hidden wallet. And allow your mind to think everything that you thought back then. Maybe a decision to keep most things the same. But maybe the numeric part was different. Maybe it was different for a good reason. So feel that it was a good idea to have a new number, and there was some logical structure to what that number was. And I don't know if you'll recall it now, or in a few minutes' time, or if it will just pop into your head in a moment of inspiration. But just know that it exists. That it passed the threshold from short-term memory to long-term memory. And once it's in long-term memory, it's always there. so long as we find the portal to retrieve it. So imagine creating that initial password and feel that you were doing what you were doing at the time to confirm those smaller transactions and then confirm longer transactions. Allow thoughts and ideas, possibilities to become suspects. Ideas, possibilities. And I wonder what the most probable suspects would be for a combination of those numbers. Perhaps 2 sets of 4-digit numbers, but maybe not. Allow your mind to rekindle, reactivate dormant neural pathways. Even if it's been decades since you last jumped on a pogo stick or rode a bike, the knowledge of how to do that is still there in your long-term memory. These things are never forgotten, but sometimes it requires a trigger to reactivate something, to remember being at that desk with that computer. And imagine where your fingers go when it's the numeric part of the password. Imagine doing all the parts up to that, the symbols, the numbers, the 2 English words, and recall that second English word before the numeric part. And just imagine you can see where your fingers go on a keypad to start typing in that next digit. That's it. And you have evidence that this is absolutely in your long-term memory. Because imagine a period of traveling, life, visiting friends in other parts of the world, and then imagine being that observer in the room as you see yourself, perhaps several months later, being on autopilot, putting in a previous password, and observe that perhaps shock, surprise, or even dread when the wallet reveals no assets, not because the assets don't exist, because an old password was used rather than the new one. But I want you to witness a eureka moment. That your unconscious mind gave you a gift. But the gift was never meant to be given to you just once. The insight that happened then can be replicated, duplicated. It's evidence that the portal to the number exists. To be that fly in the wall, the witness in the room as you see a sudden epiphany. The number suddenly appears in your mind. maybe as a feeling or maybe as a visual representation, but I want you to see that you then put the number on the keys and then even write it down and just observe. There may be clues. The speed that you were typing or writing. Was it chunks of 4 numbers or something different? But see that elation, that joy, that relief. And then feel that you're in your body. Rewind it if necessary. But only relive the eureka moment. No need to relive a moment of anxiety or loss. Relive that moment of insight, the epiphany. Breathe the way you were breathing at the time. Allow your mind to gift you those same numbers again. Imagine typing them in on the keyboard of a computer, or perhaps imagine writing them down on a notepad. Or maybe you can recall what followed an evaluation. Maybe the evaluation was, I would never have remembered or guessed those numbers. But if you would never have guessed the numbers, then guessing was never the strategy. The strategy was always to think of what contributed to those numbers. Maybe significant numbers, part of your life. Those 8 numbers were never random. They came from within your life. And if you can recall them once, you can recall them again. And maybe you can recall the number, or maybe you can recall the likely suspect of where those numbers came from. I want you to get a sense that you are priming, and maybe the numbers you could imagine being frozen in ice, accessible, but only when the ice thaws. And all of these thoughts about what you were doing, why you were doing it, where you were and how you were, is enabling the block of ice, sealing those numbers to thaw. Every now and then, in the deepest parts of Siberia, ancient mammoths start to thaw, and what was thought was lost is suddenly retrieved. And allow your mind to acknowledge the suggestion that these numbers will be revealed to you. Maybe through clues, insights, dreams, or just memories you thought you'd forgotten. Maybe it's looking at a phone number, a passport, an identity card, but certain numbers will almost jump off the page. The numbers will reveal themselves to you. And if your unconscious accepts that to be true, let me know by nodding your head. It's now time to return to that future that is inevitable for you. Find yourself back there by a pool with a deep conviction that sooner or later the numbers will occur to you, because in this moment you're in the future that is only possible because those numbers were revealed. As you leave the lounger and wander around your villa, it's now time to return to the present. But before you do, imagine opening up a laptop in an office in that future villa and just checking a portfolio. Imagine logging in and effortlessly putting in a password like you would have done many, many times, realizing that the number is always there. Before returning to the here and now, take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. That's it. Connect fully with the present moment as I now count from 1 to 10, so you become fully awakened. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.